Alright, so welcome to another segment of my mathematics videos as we continue to look at quadratic equations. So this time we are looking at quadratic equations from your Paper 1 ECZ exam. Now of course, if you remember a quadratic equation, it is always in the form ax raised to the power 2 plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So that is a quadratic equation. But sometimes you may find it is already factorized. So the highest power is a 2. No wonder it is called a quadratic, then equation, because this is, we're using the equal to sign equated to 0. So that is what you need to remember. So how do you go about solving quadratic equations? They're very simple. Solve the following quadratic equation. If you look at question number 1a, it simply says we solve the quadratic equation. So this one has the quadratic equation has already been factorized for us. So it says x minus 1 and 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. So just equate each bracket to 0. That is what we mean. So equate each bracket to 0. So it will be x minus 1 is equal to 0, or you can get 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Then you can work them out independently. So we're collecting like terms. This one, when it crosses the equal sign, x will be equal to 0 plus 1. So therefore my x is going to be 1. What about this side? Of course, you work it out like terms. So when it goes that side, it will be 2x is equal to 0 minus 5. But if you want, you would have ignored the 0 there. So it will be 2x is equal to 0 minus 5 is just a negative 5. No wonder I said there, you could have ignored the 0 and just said negative 5. How do I find x? I divide to what I do this side, I'll do it the other side. So x is equal to 2 into 5 gives me negative. That would be negative 2, remainder 1 over 2. So therefore, we can conclude x is equal to 1, or your x can be negative 2, 1 over 2. So these are the solutions to this equation that they have given us. Let's move on and show you some more practice question as we look at the B part there. So the B part there says that we find 2x squared is equal to 8. Now, of course, there are two ways that you can go about, solving this one. If you want, you can bring it this side so that you don't forget the number to this side. So it will be 2x squared minus 8 is equal to 0. Then you can factorize there. So once you factorize, what is common is a 2. If I divide 2 there, I'll remain with x squared minus. If I divide a 2 there, I'll have a 4, which is equal to 0. Remember, in this case, 4 is a square number, so you can write and say x squared minus 2 raised to the power 2 is equal to 0. So you can factorize further there. You get x there plus, you get a 2 there, then you repeat x, but this time with a minus is equal to 0. So equate each bracket to 0. So it will be x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So when this goes the other side, it will be x is equal to 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2 give us a negative 2. And that side, when the negative 2 goes the other side, to become 0 plus 2. Therefore, x is going to be equal to 2. So you can see these are the solutions. So therefore, x can be negative 2, or it could be a positive 2. So if you wanted, you could have used this one, but maybe you would love method 2. So for method 2, 2x squared is equal to 8. What you simply do there is that first of all, you divide by 2. So that will give you x squared is equal to 2 into 8 is simply a 4. Then from there, you need now to get rid of the square. So by introducing the square root. But remember, when you introduce the square root this side, it's supposed to be positive or negative. Don't forget that. So therefore, this and that will cancel. It will be x is equal to positive or negative. The square root of 4 is a 2. Therefore, x can either be positive 2 or x can be negative 2. So that is the way you can go about that one. So either if you want to use this method or that method, that is up to you in the exam. Choose which one works out for you best. All right, let's move on to the C part. So according to the C part there, it actually says the C part there says that we solve. They have given us 2x minus 1 raised to the power 2 is equal to 25. So now some people, sometimes they want to start expanding. You'll be wasting time if you want to expand. You just need to get rid of that square. How? By introducing a square root. What you do on the left hand side, you also do it on the right hand side. But remember, when you do it that side, you need the square root should either be positive or negative. That's what we mean. So this and that will cancel. That is going to give you a 2x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 25 is simply a 5. Then now we can use the positive and the negative part of the square root. So I'll say 2x minus 1 is equal to, I'll equate it to the positive part of the square root, which is a 5, or I'll again get 2x minus 1, but this time I'll get the negative part of the square root, which is equal to negative 5. So solve this one and solve the other one. Collect like terms. This one, when it crosses the equal sign, it will be 2x is equal to 5 plus 1, so it will be 2x is equal to 6. To find x, I'll divide to what I do this side, I'll do it the other side. So x is equal to 3. Let's work out this side. When it crosses, it will be 2x is equal to negative 5. The sign changes, it will be positive 1. So it will be 2x is equal to different signs. Subtract and get the sign from the bigger one. So it will be negative 4. To find x, I'll divide to what I do this side. I'll do it the other side. Therefore, x is equal to 2 into negative 4. That is negative 2. Therefore, x can either be 3 or it can be negative 2. So these are your solutions. So that's the way you can solve such an equation in an exam. Right, let's move on again to D. D is simply telling us to say, they have actually given us, in this case, x squared is equal to 3x. So that is what they have given us. You can bring this one this side, so it will be x squared minus 3x is equal to 0. Then you can factorize. So x is common. When I divide x there, I'll remain with x. When I divide x there, I'll remain with the minus 3, which is equal to 0. Then equate each to 0. So I'll equate this to 0, so meaning x is equal to 0, or what is in the bracket, x minus 3 is equal to 0. We can solve for x there. So x will be equal to, when it crosses, it will be 0 plus 3. X is equal to 3. So therefore, x could either be 0 or it could be a 3. So those are the values that you are supposed to have there. That is what we mean. All right, let's move on to the E part again so that you can see how you can go about that one. That is our last question under the E part there. So E says we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. So when you find such a quadratic equation, you need to identify your A, the coefficient of x squared, which is a 2, your B, the coefficient of x, which is a positive 5, and your constant C, which is a negative 3. So you need to come up with product, sum, and factor. So how do you get the product? 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6, then the sum is the B there that you have, which is a positive 5. So the idea is that find two factors. When you multiply, they'll give you negative 6, but when you add, they'll give you a positive 5. What are those numbers that we are going to have? So we can have a 6 and a negative 1. This times that will give me negative 6, but when I add, to give me a positive 5. But because they're using letter x, write these factors in terms of x. So it will be 6x negative 1 will just become negative x. Why are we finding this? We are replacing the middle term. So get the first term, return it to x squared. Then what you're going to do, the middle term, you replace them with these factors. So it can be minus x plus 6x. Then again, you return the last term there, the constant minus 3 is equal to 0. So what do we do next? We group and we factorize. What is common there? X is common. When I divide x there, I'll remain with 2x. When I divide x there, I'll remain with minus 1. The positive will come out. What is common is a 3, so positive 3. So I'll start dividing 3. 3 there will give me 2x. 3 into 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. You can see what is inside the bracket is the same, so group what is outside. So I'll group what is outside, there's x, and there that is a positive 3. Then you pick up one bracket because they are the same. 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So if you notice this stage that we have reached, it is like the first stage that we were given to solve there. So now we just need to equate each bracket to 0. So it is going to be x plus 3 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So when it goes that side, it will be x is equal to negative 3. This one, when it goes that side, it will be 2x is equal to positive 1. To find x, I'll divide 2. What I do this side, I'll do it the other side. So x is equal to 1 over 2. So therefore, x can either be negative 3 or a half. So these are your solutions that I wanted you to have there. All right, let's conclude with our last question, that is question number 2 under quadratic equation. So these are simple, like you can see, you just need more practice. So it says if y is equal to 1 minus 2x, 1 minus 2x, then 1 plus x in the other bracket minus 2, find the value of x for which y is a negative 2. So they want you to find values of x when y is a negative 2. So we're just going to replace there. So where there's y, you put up a 2 is equal to 1 minus 2x, then 1 plus x minus 2. Of course, like them, so I can take this one the other side. And when I take it the other side, you notice what that is going to be. On this side, it's actually a negative 2. So when I take it the other side, it will be negative 2 plus 2, which is equal to 1 minus 2x, then 1 plus x there. So negative 2 plus 2, that will give me 0, is equal to 1 minus 2x, and that is 1 plus x. Remember, this is the same. You can rewrite by taking this side. You can rewrite it. It's the same as 1 minus 2x, and 1 plus x is equal to 0. So the next thing, equate each bracket to 0. So it is going to be 1 minus 2x is equal to 0. Let me start by solving this one. So when this one goes the other side, if you want negative 2x is equal to negative 1, to find x, I'll divide negative 2. I'll also do it the other side. So x is equal to 1 over 2. We also get the other one, this one now here. So it is 1 plus x is equal to 0. When that one goes that side, x is equal to negative 1. So therefore, the values of x can be 1 over 2 or negative 1. These are the solutions they wanted you to get. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Watch out for more.